Today's video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. Today, I'm telling the true to Lego story of how a poor and lonely orphan became one of the richest minifigures on Earth. It all begins with a cute baby boy named Oliver Clutch. His eyes are bright and full of wonder, but life at the orphanage is hard. It's an old stone building that has seen far better days. The center tower uses sideways building techniques to create an ornate, round window that pressure fits into place. Rising up in the courtyard stands the arch entryway and bears the property's name, the Great Grace Orphanage. One image of beauty still remains, the stained glass windows showing the cross of Calvary. The orphanage belongs to a small group of old folks doing their best to give kids like Oliver something that feels like a home. Moving inside, we'll start where Oliver did, in the nursery. Swaddled babies peacefully sleep in their cribs, and if any get upset, Ruth can give them a bottle and rock them back to sleep. And while playing with the stuffed animals, he made his first friend, Joey. As Oliver grew up, he and Joey graduated into their own room. It's furnished with an old checkered rug and warm hand-quilted blankets on the beds, which are especially important when the windows get drafty. Using a hinge plate, I built a small desk where Oliver can tinker on electronics. Downstairs in the commons area, the children gather around to learn scripture and read books. And at night, they can warm their hands next to the fire. In the kitchen, Mama Lottie cooks up big pots of soup to make sure that all the kids stay healthy and well fed. To keep them active, Wally the groundskeeper built a jungle gym for the kids to play on. Its swaying bridges are built using tread pieces that allow them to bend. It's the perfect place for all sorts of outdoor games like capture the flag. He also built this metal swing set out of spare parts, and by turning this pin, it works. Our next scene takes us to the city, where I'm building a toy store along with a fancy restaurant. It's the rich end of town where only the most well-to-do people shop. One day, Oliver wandered over and couldn't believe his eyes. The steak, sandwiches, desserts, all of it incredible. But he knew he couldn't even afford a taste. When he reached the toy store, his eyes grew even wider. Behind the glass spun a luxury RC car and a scaled model of the Titanic. Wow. Feeling suddenly discouraged, he left without bothering to even step inside. But things weren't all gloom. At Christmas time, it was tradition for Oliver to help Wally hang the lights. With his woodworking skills, he carved toys for all of the kids, and along the way, he taught Oliver too. And as Christmas drew near, presents slowly piled up under the tree. And when it finally arrived, the kids loved tearing them open, even if knitted socks weren't the most exciting gift. And as he played with all of the wooden toys, he couldn't help but wish that they were the flashy ones from downtown. One day, Oliver stumbled across a broken RC car discarded by a dumpster, and lifting up the lid to peek inside, he found the rest of it. So borrowing Wally's tools, he completely restored it. It wasn't quite the same as getting one brand new, but it meant even more because he had fixed it himself. Soon after Christmas, a couple came to the orphanage. They were adopting Joey. As Oliver hugged him and waved goodbye, he was genuinely happy for his friend, even though he'd really miss him. Still, that night, looking across the room at Joey's empty bed, he couldn't help but wonder if he'd ever have his own family. But providentially, the next day, a new family arrived, this time asking for Oliver, and then turning to give Wally and the others a bittersweet goodbye. But let's pause to go behind the scenes. The desk I've had in my studio is super boring. Enter the CyberX gaming desk from FlexiSpot. First, the control pad uses a real joystick to adjust the height, and you can flick it to cycle the colors, whether you're a Jedi or a Sith. The wave of colors is my personal favorite. The desk features a carbon fiber texture and sleek curve, and my mess of cords now organized into one single cable. And it's a tank with FlexiSpot's highest 352-pound capacity, and its dual motors handled these giant Lego bins like nothing. It's so steady, it didn't even knock over these antennas. For filming videos, no more adjusting tripods. I can simply raise the desk for the perfect shot. These programmable buttons remember your customized height settings, so I'm totally comfortable and have tons of space to create new Lego builds and videos. FlexiSpot's black Friday sale on Amazon is now through December 1st, and using my link in the description, you can get your own CyberX as well as tons of other awesome FlexiSpot products for up to 60% off, plus free gifts. So don't wait and get yours today. So now it's time to build his new place. It's a cozy little cottage, and while it's definitely not extravagant, it has all of those small, simple things that when added up, transform a house into a home. Inside, Oliver had his very own room where he continued to work on gadgets and electronics. And he wasn't the only one in the house who liked fixing stuff. His dad could repair just about anything. Whether it was the TV going out or a leak in the house, he knew what to do, which was always coming in handy, especially for the family car. He never went anywhere without a spare toolbox under the seat. His sister was your everyday, all-American girl who loved music and putting on karaoke concerts for all of her stuffed animals. Downstairs in the living room, the family's favorite activity was piling onto the couch for movie night, at least while the TV was working. But when it wasn't, they'd gather around to play a board game. Oliver had a great childhood with his family, but as he grew up, he couldn't help wanting more. So he packed his bags, gathered the little money he'd saved, and received one last gift from his dad, the car. The first thing he bought was this old work van. It isn't pretty, but he saw its potential. So gathering up his tools, he decked it out with all of his various equipment to start his own business, a mobile electronics repair service. The idea was simple. He'd drive to customers who needed help with their broken or glitchy electronics, and he'd fix them. And before long, the profits started rolling in. So with his savings, he bought his very first house, a 10-stud by 10-stud bachelor pad. With the house's limited square studdage, this angled doorway is perfect for saving space. It has just enough room for a full toilet and shower. A patterned rug welcomes guests, and the kitchen features a stove, mini fridge, and cabinets. Behind the front door hangs a change of clothes. But my favorite part of the house is the bedroom in the attic. It's a cozy space with just enough room for a bed, and these string lights illuminate the house on the outside. In the evening after work, Oliver used scrap metal to build this workshop. Lately, he'd been modding the family car. When he was in the zone, hours passed like minutes. He used whatever spare parts he could get his hands on. And in a moment of genius, he transformed the old beater into the first ever flying car. With his prototype complete, it was now time for expansion. So he rushed down to the bank and secured a business loan. With the money, he set to work building a factory. He furnished it with high-tech energy sources to optimize production. And if he was going to mass produce flying cars, he'd need an assembly line. With the factory up and running, it didn't take long for him to crank out an entire fleet. He built them in all different colors, with subtle variations that made each of them unique. And when it came time for the grand release, the cars literally flew off the production lines. Oliver even had the dream of partnering with Blacktron astronauts to design a custom model for the Dark Knight himself.
I'm Batman.
And with the overnight success, the cash poured in. The first thing he did was run to the store to buy all of the toys he could never afford. He had wanted it all, and now he finally had it. But after he tested it all out, he couldn't help but feel just a bit bored. So he turned to food, all of those dishes that had made his mouth water for years. But you can only eat so much before it's painful. Next came the clothes. None of the celebrities on TV ever wore the patchy, tattered outfits like the ones he'd grown up in. And now, he could wear whatever he wanted. But honestly, only one or two of the outfits made him feel like himself. He didn't want his work van to tarnish his new image, so he exchanged it for a brand new Mercedes. He figured he might as well buy a few more, just to go with it. Next, he bought something truly insane, a private island for a cool 100 million. And that's without any development. So the first thing he did was import a beachside mansion. In the driveway, an ornate fountain welcomed guests. In the kitchen, his private chef prepares all of his cuisine. and this butler answers his every call. But with his staff doing everything for him, he just got boreder and boreder. So to lighten the mood, he invited a ton of people for a huge beach blowout. The party had all of the activities you could imagine. This clear bar is the perfect piece to dynamically pose the players. Since rich people love golf, Oliver added a putting course as well. On this beachside dock, patrons can go fishing, or for more excitement, jump on a jet ski. No party is complete without live entertainment, so he built his own concert venue. But at the end of the day, one by one, everyone left. But Oliver was still there, surrounded by everything he had always thought he wanted, but feeling empty. One day, out driving aimlessly, he took a wrong turn and ended up back at the orphanage. It stood completely abandoned. Outside, a man was sectioning off the property with caution tape. He explained how after Wally and the rest of the caretakers passed away, there was no one left to keep things going. And now, years of neglect and vandalism had left it in shambles. Oliver realized he had never truly appreciated everything. How Mama Lottie would quietly go hungry just so the kids could eat, or how Wally and the rest had worked late into the night to give them presents. It crushed him like a ton of bricks. But he'd finally found his purpose. He dedicated himself to restoring the orphanage, and he did it all with one mission: to show the love of Christ to a new group of kids, just as it had been shown to him. And with Oliver leading the way, the legacy of the Great Grace Orphanage would live on for generations to come. Thank you again to FlexiSpot, and don't forget to use my link in the description to get your CyberX gaming desk today during their huge Black Friday sale.